you rode for 2 months in the UK. You rode work there?
Yes.
Newmarket.
Yes, in Newmarket.
How's it in Newmarket?
It's lovely. It's just different. It's not easy to explain, but it's just amazing there. You know, the horses, the quality that they have, the people there. It's just something else. I learned a lot when I was there, and I was also in a good yard, William Haggis's yard. They're also doing well at the moment. Learned quite a lot there. So yeah, I had a good time. Really enjoyed my experience there.
Often, nobody realizes what goes on behind the scenes with getting horses to the races, with getting humans to the races, with getting jockeys to where they need to be. It's a tough industry, it's a tough game, but my oh my, as I've said on any platform, we love it, we're privileged to be in it. And we're going to hear today a story about a jockey that certainly has shown tons of ability, who may have gone a little quiet for various reasons, but he's going to tell us a bit more. But he's back, and he's back with a bang. He's booting home the winners left, right and centre. His name is Kelvin Ngcobo. Kelvin, how are you?
Good on yourself, sir.
Very, very good. Lovely. Before we go any further, the name's Warren, not Sir. So let's stop and start again. Kelvin Ngcobo is our guest. How are you?
Good on yourself, Warren.
I wouldn't call him Warren. I wouldn't call him Sir, that's for sure.
Well, I know what you would call me. And
It's a family show.
Well, I don't know. It's an over 18 show because racing and gambling's over 18. But be nice.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Because you call me horrible names sometimes, and I don't like it.
Never.
Andrew,
When I start calling you good names, you must worry.
I must worry, yeah. Andrew Harrison, of course, is with us today, as he always is, or most of the time. Kelvin, as you heard, is our guest, and we're going to spend the next half an hour chatting to Kelvin and hearing about him and how things are going. Okay. First question. I don't like to always start with this question, but it's hard not to start with this question because it sets the scene and it sets the discussion. Firstly, how old are you right now? Well, how old are you?
27.
27. Okay, so we go back many years then. How did it all start for you, horse racing, jockey? How did you hear about it and were you born into a racing family? How did it all start for you? I hate asking that simple question, but it's a must ask. How did it start for you?
Well, one of my teachers in my old high school back in Newlands sort of like introduced me to the game. He saw that I was pretty small and he said I would meet the requirements for the sports, and I gave it a shot. I fell in love with the horses and I just took it from there.
But Calv, that gentleman or the teacher from your school, were they interested in racing? Did the Jockey Academy approach them, or was he just a punter? Or how did that person that spoke to you about it know about the racing industry? Did they have a connection to the sport?
I believe they did have a connection, but we didn't really go into deep with it. He just brought up the idea and I just took it on myself with my family to give it a go, and it worked out. I think he was friends with a couple of owners, or maybe he did a bit of punting here and there.
Okay.
Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. The more we can have people interested in the industry, the better, in whatever facet. Okay, then you went to the academy, and how did your apprenticeship start? Did things go okay? Were you a successful apprentice, and how many winners did you ride in your apprenticeship?
Yes, I did have a good apprenticeship. Just trying to remember the numbers, but I believe I rode about 60, 69 or 70, somewhere there. And I had a lot of support as an apprentice. I did really well, so I can't really complain about it. It was a nice experience, and I learned a lot when I was at the academy, and it did help me as a rider, and it also improved me as a human.
Sure. Kelvin, who was at the academy at the same time as you?
Well, I've been at the academy twice. The first time it didn't work out because I was a bit small, and then they told me that I needed to gain some strength and mature a bit because my weight was pretty low as well. So I took the gap and worked on my fitness and my strength and got back again, and I think I went back 2014, yes. But the people that enrolled with me was Pumi Mjoka, Eric Ngwane, Craig Bentham, and just trying to remember. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Those guys. I mean, Eric, Craig, and
Well, Eric's in England, right?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the apprenticeship went well. Then, what are you pointing at?
Point to me.
Oh, sorry.
Then you rode a lot in Joburg under
Yes.
Robert Moore.
uh,
Was he
towards at the beginning when I moved to Joburg, I was with Mr. Waterson.
Okay.
He was my riding master at the time. Mr. Moore came in when I was about to qualify, just that last bit of my apprenticeship. Yeah.
Okay.
As I said to you in a winning interview the other day at Hollywood Bets Gravel, people say don't talk about these things because it's a sensitive subject and all this. Well, I don't know too much about sensitive subject, but I think it's a proud moment because, as we said on TV, things went a little quiet for you for various reasons, which you're going to elaborate on now. But what's so exciting and so encouraging is that you've taken your career by the scruff of the neck and you've bounced right back and you're busy bouncing back to be even better. What happened? What was that quiet spell? I mean, there was injuries and things. Touch on that, Cal.
Yes, I had a very bad injury when I was back in Cape Town, just a few months as I qualified, and I also battled with my weight. So I just took some time off to work on myself and just work on my weight and understand my body and how I can sort of like get myself going back again strong. And it did help me because I sort of like learned about myself, watched and analyzed the game, and sort of like just bided my time and just saw everything in another perspective, which would help me move forward and get back stronger.
Well, Kelvin, I must take my hat off to you because being a jockey is not easy.
Yes.
Physically. You're probably one of the fittest athletes doesn't matter what sport you're in. I mean, your knees and your back, they take big strain. And to have a break and then come back and understand that you need to keep fit and you need to keep your weight down, takes a bit of mental toughness.
Yes, it does. It's all about just working on it and just making sure that you are mentally strong. What I do is meditate quite a lot, and it does help. So we all find different things that help us and work for us.
I meditate over a beer bottle. That's fine.
Yeah, well, that's what works for you. I'm not so sure it works for everybody else, but if that's what works for you, crack on. But what's interesting, Kelvin, is that we mentioned weight, and we'll talk a bit more about weight because it needs to be, in not all jockeys, but in most or some jockeys, it needs to be managed. It's an issue. And people will say, well, then if you battle with your weight, do something else. Well, it's not always as easy as that. Easier said than done. It's your profession, it's your love. You love what you do, it's your profession, it's your source of income, so you have to manage your weight. And how do you do that? I mean, I know yesterday, you were in the sauna a lot of the time, and you've obviously got to watch what you eat, and there's times where you can let yourself go and have a bit of something to eat, and then you've got to pull back. But that must be physically and mentally challenging as well, that constant managing your weight.
Yes, well, what I've found that helps me with my weight is I do a lot of exercising. Like I try and jog like twice a day. Like after work, I'll maybe jog without sweatsuits, and then in the afternoon maybe go for a jog with like a sweatsuit, and then watch some sports just to keep my mind active and racing on competitiveness, and then maybe lay in the bath before I sleep just to sort of like drop my weight and keep it maintained. Then eat a lot of fruits and those vitamin waters, and it's helped me quite a lot to keep the balance of my weight.
You touched on the fact that you had a few injuries and you battled with your weight and you took a step back and you reassessed yourself and your life, etc., and you made the comeback. And your body was now good, your mental state, everything was good, but now you've come back. So you arrive at whatever training center and you're not guaranteed that you're going to get the support. And the point I'm making is that you did your part. Now you needed to get given the opportunities to prove that you can do it. And I won't say lucky because, one works hard. You've been blessed to be given the opportunities and you're delivering.
Yes, I have been blessed. I'm not gonna lie. It's working really well, and I'm really grateful for all the opportunities I'm getting.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, I spoke to the riding master this morning, Martin Bull. He was very complimentary about your riding.
Yeah, but it's also, you're 100%, you've got to
No,
be able
listen,
to
you don't-
ride, but you've got to,
No,
it's a
sure,
whole
you-
different, you've got to have that hunger, you've got to have that discipline. It's not just, you might be able to ride. There are a lot of jocks out there that are able to ride, but might not have the greatest work ethic. You've got to have the whole package, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but I know a lot of blokes that just bloody bun and coke.
Well, yeah, then, but that's,
Doesn't matter. So, but if you can ride, especially now with there's a paucity of top jockeys at the moment. There's not too many of them around.
yeah.
My personal opinion.
Well, there's
So if you're good enough, you'll get the opportunity.
the opportunities. But you've got to, you agree with me what I'm saying. You can be good enough, but you've got to be able to put the work in. You've got to put the work. You've got to have the right attitude. You've got to have the race riding savvy. You've got to have everything. You've got to be able to make decisions when things happen quickly. But that you mentioned that, and I hope that because there's in the world, never mind in the country, in the world there's young riders that come out of their time that show tons of ability in their apprenticeship, and they come out of their time and they seem to disappear. But you ask around, well, why have they disappeared? Well, they're not at work. And I hope that the young riders that watch this kind of show realize that the penny has to drop soon, and the mentality and the maturity has to strengthen quickly, because nobody waits for anybody. You get given one or two chances. And I hope that when you see the young riders out there that you feel are slacking off and are not maybe coming to work and doing what they have to do, and you maybe kick them up the button, because there are people, there's so much talent out there, but I think it's being wasted because they're not putting in the work. Do you agree with that comment?
Well, it does go that way for certain people, I'm not going to lie. I've also seen a couple of things happen to different people. But yeah, it's one of those things that we can't change.
It's a harsh reality.
Yeah, but once you cut the lifeline from the academy, then you're on your own. You're a one-man business.
Yeah, correct. You are a one-man business. Okay, now, so what would you say, Kelv? What would you say would be, if I said to you, yes, the injuries, and you said, what was the turning point for you? Was maybe the relocation to a different province, or just that break? What was the turning point for you that things have come good for you again?
Well, I think it's because I've just told myself just to start off from the bottom and just see how it goes and just build up and just keep the hunger. When I got back, I told myself that I'm just going to fight and fight and fight until it works.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give up. So that's what's helped me, my mental states. And the center that I chose as well did help, because there's a lot of racing in Durban at the moment.
Yes.
So I knew that if I stayed there and carried on trying, I'll get a couple of opportunities. And I was quite lucky. I had a good break quite early on when I started my race riding.
And Kelvin, I mean, who supported you when in between from your apprenticeship and you went into that quiet period? Did your family look after you?
Well, yes.
Let's talk about your family. Tell us about them.
Yeah, well, my family, they've been very supportive towards me and anything I actually try to do. And all my decisions, they've been 100% behind me. So they've been the backbone to lift me up, to be honest, because I also went through some slight depression just with how things were not going for me. But I managed to sort of like get myself stronger with their assistance as well.
I don't know if your GPS doesn't work anymore, because you must punch in Hollywood Bets Greyville and Hollywood Bets Scottsville, because it would be nice to see you at the races once or twice.
Scottsville's good.
Scottsville's good for you because you just have to walk there, you don't have to use any petrol. But Greyville, Hollywood Bets Greyville, come and see us. And the reason why I'm saying that, yes?
Yeah, well, if they raise my salary so I could pay the petrol, then I'm not all right.
Oh, the petrol, the rising cost of petrol, we won't go, and that's another whole debate on its own. But the point I'm making is that 2 or 3 Greyville race meetings ago, or maybe it was 4 or 5, I don't know, Kelvin's family was there. And I don't know if you saw the celebrations.
I did, I was watching.
And the joy, and I think your family led the horse in. Yeah, which horse was that? Can you remind us?
It was American Dream for Mr. Cotson, yes.
The American Dream. They led the horse in. The photographs that were captured, the joy, the delight, the noise, the happiness, that was so good to see it. And that moment, I can just see, as you were talking about how your family have been with you and supported you, judging by what we saw, you've got a very good and supportive family.
Yes, yeah, they're very supportive, and I'm very grateful and blessed to have them.
The future, I mean, it's hard, everyone says, well, what do you want to do in the future? Yes, but what are your plans? Just stay here, keep doing what you're doing, ride, or do you want to travel, or what are your plans for the moment?
Oh, you rode for 2 months in the UK. You rode work there?
Yes,
Newmarket.
Yes, in Newmarket.
How's it in Newmarket?
It's lovely. It's just different. It's not easy to explain, but it's just amazing there. You know, the horses, the quality that they have, the people there. It's just something else. I learned a lot when I was there, and I was also in a good yard, William Haggis's yard. They're also doing well at the moment. Learned quite a lot there. So yeah, I had a good time. Really enjoyed my experience there.
Would you go back if you had the chance?
Well, I would go back again, just, you know, and feel those horses again and just enjoy myself around there. It was lovely. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
On the weights a little bit easier in the UK than here.
Well, I wasn't race riding. I was just riding well.
No, sure.
But yeah, the weather's not too great. But
The weather.
but
We only race there in summer. Don't worry about winter.
everything else there, I'd love to race there one day. You know.
But but for now, you just want to ride as many winners as you can and just continue making more of a name for yourself.
Yes, I'm still establishing myself. So as time goes, I'd like to obviously compete on a higher level and travel if it's opened. If I get the chance to get rides in other centres, I will. There's nothing to stop.
From travelling, a bit of travelling.
There's nothing to stop me. Got to keep going.
Are you a shy person?
I'm not gonna say I'm shy, but I'm okay.
Quiet.
I'm
Reserved.
okay.
Are you
Yeah.
reserved?
Yes.
Because, judging, having the conversation with you, and you seem very much, you're not shy, but you're a stable, quiet, focused human being. Is that the right way to assess you? Nice and focused and content with what's going on?
Yes, I try to be very alert with everything around me and just to make sure that I'm very focused. So, yeah, you could say, I'm maybe trying to balance myself,
Yeah, but he's also an Arsenal supporter, which doesn't help.
Well, I don't know anything about soccer. I don't know, is Arsenal good or bad? Or
No,
They were bloody rotten for a few times.
Are you
So
saying they're
that's
rotten?
probably
You're
why-
saying they're brilliant? So I don't know.
No, it's not brilliant. They were sweating a few times.
Arsenal,
I
hey?
think they're
no, we're
coming
doing
good.
well at the moment. We're
Yeah.
at the top of the league, so I'm
What's
happy.
wrong with you? They're on top of the league.
Yeah,
Are
but
you
they
joking?
weren't. But that's probably why he's been sweating for the last 3 years. They've only just got to the top.
When Tawanda went and spoke to them yesterday in the jockey room, he was sweating not because of losing weight, he was sweating because of Arsenal.
Yeah.
Oh, now I understand.
No, man, you got to the top easily.
Aren't they playing Liverpool this weekend?
Yeah, we are playing Liverpool. Yeah, hoping for a good game. I'm sure the boys will play well. So I'm just hoping for a victory there.
I laugh because our next door neighbour in our complex is a big soccer supporter, and he often sends messages because you hear screaming and shouting for the soccer. He sends messages, says, sorry about the noise. I said, are you joking? Because every Saturday afternoon there's screaming and shouting in my house for the races. I mean, obviously we watch racing every day. So I said, you don't need to apologise for making noise, for cheering your sport home. But I think he's an Arsenal supporter, I think. But I'm probably wrong. He'll probably murder me. But talking about soccer, I went onto my betting app the other day and I spent 20 Rand. I went and I clicked on today's soccer. I mean, I know that much about soccer. And I chose a whole lot of teams. I've never heard of them in my life before. And punched in 20 Rand to win 1,000. And next morning I woke up and there was 1,000 Rand in my account. So I'm not bad at selecting soccer team. Maybe the less you know, the better it is.
I think so.
Kelvin, where's home for you now? When you leave us, you go home. Where do you stay? Where do you live?
Well, at the moment, I'm living in Botazil.
Okay, just out the back of your film.
Then you start work? What time?
Well, I'm always at Summerfeld at about 20 to 5. It depends. If I'm needed to be early, I'll be there early. If I'm needed to be there normal time, I'm here. But we normally at Summerfeld at about 5 o'clock, somewhere around there.
What car do you drive, Cal?
At the moment, I don't have a car, but I'm looking to purchase
One.
something somewhere along the lines of next month or in 2 months' time. Yeah.
Okay.
Rather steal Tobiso's.
Tavisha's car.
If anyone's got a car to sell, drop a comment below.
Yeah. But we asked people to comment last week. Nobody commented. What was our comment when we asked a suggestion? Oh, yes, it was about the stick, the rule, and we're going to still get somebody on whether the stick has a place or doesn't. Not one comment. So I don't know if anyone has cars to sell. Kelvin needs a car, but
Make sure that they're roadworthy.
yeah, roadworthy. We can't have one with 3 tires. It needs 4 tires, a steering wheel, etc. We want a proper car. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you reach for?
Depends on how I'm feeling that morning, to be honest. Sometimes I'll make, before I brush my teeth, depends if I go have a coffee or a cup of tea.
Your cell phone, you don't go for the cell phone first?
Not
really?
No, not every morning. It depends. Depends.
That's good because you know how many people go for this. That's the word. Last thing at night, cell phone. First thing in the morning, cell phone. I'm a victim of that.
No.
You can't. We've got to send you 25 messages in a row. You know why I do that? Because I know that your phone is not near you, so you go ding, 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 so you can hear.
I always know that it's you on the other end.
Other end, yeah. I know that diet is a problem, and you've got to watch what you eat and all this stuff. But if I said to you, you got one treat, Andrew and I are taking you out for a cheat meal. What is that? Where do you want us to take you if you're allowed a cheat meal? In other words, what's your favorite meal?
I'd like to have sushi.
Sushi, yeah, okay, well, that's a nice healthy option. Sushi, you're a sushi fan?
I love sushi.
Yeah, certain sushi is okay. It would be remiss if we didn't talk about a yard, and we don't want to single out a yard because, and you'll correct us, because there are other trainers that are giving you support, but in particular, John Butler and Glenn Cotson seem to have got behind you in a big way.
Yes, they have. They've been very supportive, and they've been giving me a lot of chances, and I'm very grateful for that.
He's taken the opportunity, so when you start winning,
Yes.
it's contagious.
Yeah, it's a lovely word. You're right, it is contagious. Winning is contagious.
Yeah. So when you're riding well, you're riding winners. When there's spare rides and other trainers throw you a bone, so because they know they're going to get value for money.
Sure, absolutely. The most enjoyable thing about your career, about your job, about your lifestyle, what do you enjoy most about your job? What do you like the most?
That last 40 seconds of the race, hearing the crowds shouting and you just going past that post.
Okay.
The best feeling.
Best
Yeah.
feeling.
It's an adrenaline rush. It's lovely.
You know what I did yesterday, which was so interesting. Contrary to what your beliefs, I spent a bit of time in the office yesterday, and if you walk out of our office and you go straight in a straight line to the racetrack, it's at about the 400-meter mark. So yesterday I went to experience that. I walked down and I went to go and stand at the end and watch the horses going past. And I got it. That was at the 400, and I wasn't even in the race. And it was the most thrilling feeling to actually hear the horses go past and a bit of the noise and one or two of the whip cracks. You know, that noise, they make more noise than anything else, those whips. And it was exciting. So I can understand what Kelvin is saying, to be on top of the horse, riding out your finisher, you've got the crowd. So that's what you enjoy the most, eh?
Yes, yeah.
Let me take it to you, the last question, and flip it the other way. And I'm springing the question on you. What's the worst part of your job? What if I said to you there's one thing that you really don't enjoy and we can take it away from you, what is that you really don't like?
That's the part of sweating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things that you have to do.
Explain to us, I know I did say the last question. This is the last because it's 15:15 and you have appointments to go to. For those that don't know out there, the public, when you say sweating, I mean, I'm sitting here and it's hot today and there's no aircon and I'm sweating a little bit. That's not sweating. What is jockey sweating? What do you do? Just from when you know you've got to sweat, tell us what you do. What does it entail?
Well, the whole process is all about just cutting down in your meals if you do have big meals, and exercising a lot, and like using the sauna.
Well, that's what happens in the sauna. That's what I mean.
Sweat.
I know, but I mean, how do you prepare? I mean,
Well,
there's cups of sweat. You hear them talking about cups of sweat, etc.
you normally go in with cups, like maybe 2, 3, 4 cups. I know 1 cup is equivalent to half a kilo, if I can still remember correctly. So if you do like 3 or 4 cups, that's like losing almost 2 kgs, and you're just sitting there in the steam pumps.
And you're literally you're literally draining the sweat out of you.
Yes, you put some cream on your skin so that it helps you release the sweat a bit quicker, and you also have like 1 or 2 sips of maybe water or Coke just to get some water or fluids in your body, and then you just keep losing.
It's a heck of a balance, actually, Andrew. You know, the more Kelvin talks and the more I listen and the more we listen, it's not easy, you know. And then you've got to go and ride.
That's what I'm saying. When Kelvin had that break, and he's had the mental courage and the mental know how to actually come back and think, well, geez, I'll come back to racing. I want to sit in the sauna all the time because of my weight.
Since I've come back, I haven't really used the sauna. I sort of like made sure that I just cut myself from it. I'll only use it if I really have to, but I haven't really done it.
What's your bottom weight, Kel?
54.5, but I did ride 53 a meeting, I think 3 meetings back at Scottsville.
So you're still fairly light.
Not light, like I walk around like 55, sometimes 56, but bottom weights I do ride is, which I'm carded to ride, is 54.5. But to do that, I like cut down in my eating, and I just do a lot of jogging.
You're not like Bernard Faydu.
Yeah, and there's another jock, Shame. I mean, he, you know, as you say, but you do it because you love it. You do it because it's your job, it's your life, it's your income. It's you just love it. But what's interesting, and I'm glad you explained that about the sweating and the cups and equivalent of the weight and the draining it literally from you and putting cream on, etc. Because then the rider needs to go and ride, which of course he rides. You know, he's checked by the doctor. He goes and he rides. Say he happens to be riding a 6 to 10 shot, you know, and he gets beat. You know, you think he enjoys it? He's had to battle it out in the sweat box. He hasn't won. I'm using a worst case scenario. You know, and then he gets grumbled at by somebody in the crowd. I mean, it's a tough. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. When I interviewed Michael Roberts the other day with that horse, Lunar Eclipse, I think is its name. Is that its name, Raheel? Lunar Eclipse. Raheel's in the background having his breakfast. So is Zane. I've never seen 2 thin people eat as much as they do, and they just never get put weight on.
Yeah, they get older.
And they'll get older. Okay, so when they hit the 40s, with a 40 wobble. Anyway, back to that horse, Lunar Eclipse. When I interviewed Michael Roberts, towards the end of the interview, I could see he had tears well up in his eyes. I went to him afterwards and I said, Michael, I just felt your emotion. Well done, congratulations. He said, you don't know what we've been through with this horse. And that's what the public don't realize. We don't know what people have to do to get to a horse to the races and have to get a jockey to the races. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Tough game.
It's tough. It's tough. So well done to you for taking a hold of your life and taking a hold of your career, because we're all hugely proud of you, and we look forward to watching you ride more winners and more places and more unplaces, because there will be, you can't win every race, but just keep going, keep grinding, and yeah, we really look forward to your future, and to you and your whole family, we wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show. It was a pleasant time here, so all good. I'm happy.
I was hoping you were going to
Listen,
say...
the Cape season's coming up.
Hold on, before we talk about the Cape season, we're going to say a pleasant surprise, because I don't know, you know, a lot of people think it's daunting to come and talk to us, but we have such good fun that I'm sure you've enjoyed your time.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed myself.
But now back to the Cape season.
No, the Cape season's coming up. Glenn's got a couple of decent horses.
You never know. Maybe that's been discussed already.
Maybe we could interview you after you won the Met.
Hopefully something like that happens. It'll be special.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great.
Of course, Glenn's listening, and Glenn sent me your number when I asked him for the number yesterday, so I'm sure that a flight to Cape Town would be most welcome for Kelvin. But Kelv, jokes aside, not jokes aside, just podcast aside, we're finished now, but thanks for your time, and as I said, we could have spoken for another half an hour, but we respect the fact that you've got appointments to go to, And the next time we talk, I'm sure we'll be in the winner's box.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, lovely. That's Kelvin.
Thanks, Kelvin.
Thanks, Kelvin. Kelvin and Ngcobo. If you want to get up and leave, you're most welcome, because Andrew and I are just going to talk about a few things. So if you want to just up and go, we'll see you.
You must check his alamat.
It's got lovely shoes. Comfortable, yeah. You know how many people do that? They're like, after you've done gym or whatever, or you've been out riding work, out with your working shoes into your slippers. That's the best. Put your feet into some soft
Don't
slippers.
have alamats.
Very quickly before we wrap up, Kelvin will wait with us then for a minute or two. Any news, any excitement, any a press release sent by the National Horse Racing Authority squashing all those terrible rumours about Paul Peter?
Yeah,
So that's sorted.
that's sorted. Com Knight is packed up in PE.
Yes, the horses are moved back to KwaZulu-Natal.
Half of them are running on Sunday.
Yes, I see that. He hasn't wasted any time putting them in and to earn. So that's fantastic.
Because Lunga got a job in
Gauteng. Yeah, we wish him all the very best, a horseman of the highest order. So that's 3 bits of news. Then the season, you say, okay, there's plenty racing this weekend. There's a double header, there's Durbanville and Hollywood Bets Durbanville, and there is Turffontein. Feature races, good horses running all over the place. Get your bets on and follow your horse racing.
It'll be interesting to see how Cape Town picks up with all these incentives and things.
Well, I tell you,
They're
there's already been a great buzz and a great vibe, and well done to Cape Racing and well done to
Well, they're
Hollywood Bets.
siphoning off our horses to go to Cape Town, so now we couldn't have a meeting on Monday because there's no horses.
But Andrew, the horses, the good horses go, they go around the country, we all go, they've gone to the Cape, they go to Joburg, and so they rotate. But yeah, the vibe there is good, and hopefully we'll make a trip down to the Cape one of the days, you never know. Although to get you to come to Greyville, Hollywood Bets Greyville is like...
I'm a bad traveller.
Bad traveller. Okay, we'll put you under tranquilizers. And then there was one other thing I wanted to mention. Yes, the soccer. The soccer bets, go onto your various platforms, betting sites, Tab Online, Tab Gold, Track and Ball, and you'll see all your soccer bets available to you there. Plenty of betting opportunities. But that's a wrap from all of us. Racing this weekend on Sunday at Hollywood Bets Greyville. We look forward to being your hosts from Andrew Harrison, Kelvin and Ngcobo, and myself, Warren Lenfrene. We wish you all the very best and trust that you and your families and loved ones will stay safe. And we'll see you as always from the number 1 box. Thank you for watching this week's episode of In the Box Seat podcast right until the very end. And we hope that you enjoyed it, because we certainly did. If you missed last week's podcast, In the Box Seat podcast with Andrew and myself, please go and watch it here. And last week's episode will be right there for you to go and enjoy and watch, as we know you will certainly enjoy In the Box Seat podcast from last week.